Hi there, it's Anna Rosie Duck Designs here. Thanks very much for joining me today. I'm back as promised to talk about the little pizza boxes. I mentioned them in my last video, and today I'm just going to look at ways of how they can be used to give gifts to our friends and family. So these are the little pizza boxes, and this is how they'll come when they're ordered, and you get 8 for £5.50. Very easy to put together. You've got all your fold lines. Fold that, take the little bits out that are not meant to be there. And the great thing about these little boxes is that they are actually food safe. So you can put all sorts of things in here. I'm thinking those cookies that are about that size, they would work really well in there. And if you were really clever, unlike me, you would even be able to make your own cookies and put them in and really wow your friends and family. So that's the little box put together. So here's one I've made up earlier. And I'm going to make a box that's very much based on a card that I made earlier in the week, and that's on my Facebook page. So I'll put a link to that at the front of the video. Now basically these are almost 3.5 inches, so to get the covering of the box I go for 3.25 by 3.25. That's roughly 8 centimetres by 8 centimetres. So I'm going to put a snail on that to attach it to the top of the box. And we also want to make the inside look a bit pretty, don't we? So again, I've used, this is the Tropical Escape Designer Series paper, which comes in 6x6 sheets. And there are some really pretty patterns in there. You might have noticed from what I'm wearing that I'm quite into these sort of leaves, and I was really taken with this top because it was screaming lemon lime twist to me, which has got to be one of my favourite colours. Although I've got to say Granny Green Apple is catching up there. So I've cut this at 3.25 by 3.25, and I'm going to stick that again with snail, and I'm just going to put that on the bottom. Now the choice is yours. You can put your paper on while your box is still flat. I tend to make mine up and then just put it on from there, but as I say, the choice is yours. Now I'm going to put a piece of the black cardstock. Again, it's 3.25 by 3.25, just to pretty the lid up. And then this little piece, which matches the bottom piece of paper, is actually 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. The reason I've done that, I could have done 3 by 3.25 by 3.25, but because the cardstock I'm using is only 6 by 6, it means that I've actually got to use 2 sheets of paper to get that measurement out of it. So I thought it was easier just to do what I've done, so I could get the 2 bits of paper from the 1 piece of DSP. Now obviously if you're using a larger sheet, you don't have that problem. But again, this will tie in with what I'm going to do on the front. So as I say, decision's yours. You can do it either way. I'm trying to be a little bit economical with my paper. Right, there we go. We put that in the middle-ish. So that's the inside of my box is done. So returning to the top, I've cut another piece of black cardstock, so 3 by 3. So there I'm tying it in then with my black cardstock inside. In the centre I've used stitch framelit dies, They're £28, and I love these because you get ovals, circles, and you also get squares. So you've got a really good choice of shapes that you can use. So to me, that's a really good piece of equipment to have. Now I've used this size, which is the smallest circle, and I've cut out, using my Big Shot, I've cut out that circle in the middle of the black cardstock. Now if you don't have a Big Shot, then a punch would work just the same. But if you do and you haven't got this set, I really would recommend that you add that to your supplies at some point. So I think it's okay. Getting myself a bit confused there. That was the other one that I used for my card, and having a senior moment, but it is Sunday morning, so it's hardly surprising. So I'm now going to stick that onto the centre of my box, again using snail. Now I've got 4 leaves that I've cut out, and I've used the Tropical Thin Lit dies. Again, I love this particular set of thin lits, and they will coordinate with the Tropical Chic stamp set. So the one I've actually used is this one here, and they are £25 to buy, but there's also a bundle option with that, and I'll just talk about that a bit later. So that's the one I've used, again using my Big Shot to cut that out. Away so they don't get lost. Always handy when they come from Stampin' Up, they're sort of stuck, the thin lits, framelits, whatever, are stuck onto a piece of paper, which are very secure. But I've got to say, these little metal sheets are really worth investing in. Just Google them on Amazon, I got them from. But they're readily available, and really, again, I would recommend that because it's a lot less easier to lose your dies. I've forgotten my craft scissors, so I'm going to make do with these. With these, I'm going to stick these around the middle, and there's going to be quite a bit of excess card if I leave the leaves as they are. So I'm just going to trim the bottom bits off, just so I've actually got stalk or stem rather than loads and loads of cardboard. It's going to make it a bit untidy. A bit like when you get a bunch of flowers and you've got to trim it down. Right. That'll be okay. Now, very unusually for me, I'm actually going to use Tombow. Not because I don't like Tombow, it's just that I always find snail is really my go-to adhesive. But in this instance, Tombow is going to be really useful. So that's again available under the adhesive section on the online shop. So I've just splodged a bit of that in the middle. And the good thing with this, it gives you a bit of wiggle time. If you've not put your cut out in the right place, you can fiddle around with it because it doesn't dry instantly like the snail does. I've gone for 2 colours. This is Melon Mambo, I should have said that earlier, Melon Mambo and Granny Green Apple. To say my close run favourite green at the moment. So I'm just putting that so it's covering the 4 corners of my box. You can see by taking those leaves off, I've just made that easier to stick down. And just to ensure it sticks properly, I'm going to splodge a bit more Tombow on top of that. Just lay that down like that. Now I've cut out, using the stitch framelits, the little circle, and I've kept that because I'm going to put that now on top of here. Now I've got glue all over my hands. So you don't get glue when you use snail, and for somebody who's messy, that's probably a good thing. But there are times when, as I say, Tombow is a really good thing to use. I'm going to stick that down with some, because there's a lot of card under there, I'm going to go for 3 Stampin' Dimensionals, a bit over the top, but I want to make sure it sticks. I'm just going to grab a wipe, because I can just see I'm going to get glue over things that I really don't want glue on. I wish I was one of these people who could craft and make it look like it's so easy and they don't get themselves in a mess, but sadly I'm not one of those. There we go, that's better. Right, so I'm taking the backs off the Stampin' Dimensionals. Or not, as the case may be. Okay. So I'm going to just stick that across the middle, so it'll be held by these, but it'll also be held by the Tombow that I've put on the top. And what I'm trying to do is just get that in the middle. Now again, this is the Tropical Chic stamp set, which you've got a stamp for this as well in here. And what I've done is I've stamped this one, which is this stamp, and I've cut that out using, just got a good shot of my arm there. I've cut that out using here somewhere, there it is. I've cut that out using that thin knit. So again, not necessary if you haven't got the big shot. You could not use the black, you could put a, use a white, kind of piece of white circle out with a punch, and then you could just stamp that onto your white circle. So it's not the end of the world without a big shot. I have to say, if you haven't got one and you're really into crafting, then put it on your wish list, because once you've got one, there's all sorts of possibilities of what you can do with your crafting. So that's that. So I've done that. Of course, I've got to put some Wink of Stella on that. Absolutely rude not to. I'm just going to colour the leaves in. And this is a new Wink of Stella that I've just opened, so it's got lots of lovely glitter in it. Because it's so bright and sunny, we've had to draw the curtains to make it possible to even film this, so I'm guessing this probably isn't going to show up that well. But you have my word that it's very shimmery. Just how I like it. There we go. And I'm going to then attach that with a Stampin' Dimensional. So we've got a couple of layered aspects to this. We've got a layer there with the Stampin' Dimensionals on that, and we've got another one on the top. So I'm just going to put that on the top, and that's job done. Now in this one, I'm going to add one of these. Found these in a garden centre in the sale the other day, and I thought, what a brilliant gift that is. little tea light on the top. I haven't got one of those nice smelly ones, that's just a basic one, but if I was actually going to give this as a gift, I'd find myself some of those pretty, all those nice smelly ones and put those in. So there we have it. So just some other ideas of what can be done using these boxes. Oh, that's right, I was just going to mention, wasn't I, the Tropical Chic stamp set with the thin knits. There is a bundle available. Now, they come as wood mount or clear mount, which means they're red rubber stamps. You can either buy them with the wood block, or you can buy them so that they stick onto the clear blocks. This is always my preference because I can see them when I'm placing my stamps. I have said this before, if you're having difficulty getting that stamp to adhere to the clear block, just use a bit of basic lip salve. Again, if you don't bother to put the pattern piece on, then you'll have the stickiness to attach to your block. Personally, I like to see that when I'm stamping, so for me, I need to have that, so I use the lip salve, and that always works. So yeah, so wood mount are £28, £20 for clear mount, and then you've got the bundle at £47.50, and that's on wood mount, or £40.50 for the clear mount. So again, they do make they do complement each other. So again, if you've got a big shop and you like this stamp set, then certainly give that a thought. Just put my top back on my glue. So just some ideas of what else you can do with these boxes. Here's another little one. This is going to be for my friends, just a little gift to go with their main present. So you can see on the bottom there, this is the I want to say the love. I'll share what you love. Share what you love DSP, and this is Rich Raspberry. Again, I've used the stitch framelits. So I've got a bigger outer circle, then I've got stamped on white in Rich Raspberry, the Happy Anniversary stamp from the beautiful Bouquet stamp set. And see, I write these things down and then I can't find them. £25 that one. And then on the front here, I've got Rich Raspberry cardstock. I've got a Pearlized Doily, and then I've just cut out using the daisy punch. I've done 2 layers of daisy there, and then this is a 3rd layer, and I've brought this up to form this little crown. Now I've done that using a new tool which is going to be available in the new catalogue. So I'm not going to say anything more about that now. You'll just have to come back and join me for my walkthrough of the new catalogue, which goes live on the 5th of this month. So that's just a couple of days away. So again, that is very easy to stick 4 candles in there. I always think if you're going out perhaps for a meal with your friends, perhaps you tend to take a bottle of wine, box of chocolates, you can always add that on as a little extra. There's a faceted gem in the middle of there as well. So that's that one. We've got the one that we looked at last week. That is the Nature's Poem DSP, again with a Pearlized Doily. And the distinctive stamps that my last video was about. Pearlized Doily is £4.25 for 24, and I've got to say these are really pretty. I don't know if the camera can pick up. I should have brought a spare one in. I don't know if you can actually pick up the shimmering in that, but they're beautiful. They're really nice. So again, this is the box you would have seen if you watched my last video. But we were talking about putting together a little set of cards as a gift. I showed you that one last time. So what we're going to do, oh, I've got a spare one here, look, here you go. Still don't think that's going to pick it up, but anyway. So that's that. So I'm going to just show you this little card. So just a reminder, these are they're 6x3, scored at 3 in the middle, and that makes your little card which fits into the little mini envelopes. So I've cut Nature's Poem DSP, and that is at 2 7/8. I'm going to stick that on with some snail. Pearlized that one. I've cut out that again using the stitched framelit dies. So you can see I get a lot of use out of my stitched framelit dies. I think that's the second smallest. I'm just going to check that. It's actually a couple of weeks since I made these. Yeah, that's the second one. That's the second size I've cut that out with. I'm going to put a doily on there. I'm going to over here so I don't get glue on everything else. Normally I would use a spare bit of card, but I've forgotten to bring that with me. Organised as ever. Now, because I'm going to cover this, it doesn't matter if some of the glue is showing or it's seeping through. So I'm just going to put that in the middle. Taking this, I'm going to use a couple of stamps from this beautiful Bouquet stamp set. Again, if you watch my videos on a regular basis, you'll know that I'm really into this one, love it. I'm using Blackberry Bliss. This ties in with the colour of the background of the DSP. And I'm taking always nervous when I'm doing this on camera. You do it time and time again. There you go. I had to mention it, didn't I? Like I say, I think in all my videos it's real life and stuff happens. Right, I'm taking this little leaf, that one, from the stamp set, and again I'm using the Blackberry Bliss. Now I'm going to try and replicate that. That's what I'm trying to get, what I'm going for. So there was one over here, one over here, one there, there, and one there. That one, but and I'm going to then just add some Wink of Stella, and I'm going to try and avoid actually blending with the Wink of Stella, so I'm just literally going over the Blackberry Bliss colour, not going over the whole flower. And I'm going to just stick that down and leave the leaves as they are, and then just with the snail I'm going to attach that to the centre. Sure I've got it the right way because that would look a bit silly, wouldn't it? So it's actually a little notelet done. I like to if you put something in here, you're really taking away some of the space to write something, and at 3 by 3 there's not a lot of space. So I've not tended to decorate the inside of those, but you can always decorate the envelope. So I'm just going to go with stamping that off. That's the floral one again to match the front of the card. Now it's not picked the ink up there, so it's just one of those things. So yeah, I mean, if I was going to give that as a gift, I would make sure that I redid that. But it's just to show you the ideas. So put those all back in there. Grab that again. So the other idea that I came up with, let me just use my shimmy to clean my stamps. Again, I love this. I still manage to get messy, but nowhere near as messy as I used to. And that's just £7.50 to buy, and if you want the stamp box to go with it, that is £6.50 and you get 4 of those. I've got I really don't want to get Blackberry Bliss on this. You can even make a little treat for the cats. This is the Jar of Love stamp set that I've used together with the thin lips, and this is a new DSP that is in the new catalogue. Inside I've just added a cat using my cat punch, and I think one of my cats already knows that there's some treats about. £17 for that, for the punch. If you're a cat lover, it's a must-have. So that's that. I just want to finish off with an idea that the box, or the pizza boxes, can be something a little bit special. Rid of this. I've made this for my friend, so I really don't want to get that messed up. Polka dot tulle ribbon. So, anniversary. No, Marley, it's not a toy. Seriously? Come on. No, it's not for you. Here you go. Down. Good boy. Perhaps I should have got the treats out in a minute. This is Marley, everybody. Actually worse than Ollie. So I'll just put that back in its box and do it up. So you could come up with something like that and use it as a photo album, but that could make a really special gift for someone special in your life. Right, finally, it is time for me to go. I've one thing left to say. The new autumn winter catalogue. It goes live on the 5th of September. I can show you the front now, but I can't show you anything else. I can't show the inside of it. What I can tell you is there's some fabulous new products in there. So do have a look on the 5th on my online shop. I'll put a link onto that. And join me in my next video when I will be taking a walk through the new catalogue. But for today, thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope you have fun playing with the pizza boxes, and I hope I've given you some ideas. So until next time, take care. Bye.